Hey everybody, welcome back. These are some incredible acts of entitlement.
I was so mentally traumatized.
I'm probably out a little over $3,000.
You're telling me you couldn't blend my smoothie?
So let me tell y'all how I just lost like $3,000 and my entire friend group. So I am turning 30 October 19th, and I had planned to do a trip in Houston. Back in June, I sent out custom invitations to everybody, like video invitations. It was super cute, inviting them to my rodeo right in Houston. And I basically told everybody, like, I am having some things planned, but I plan to pay for the Airbnb, like, as just a courtesy. Like, to me, I just felt like that's the least I can do. Since you guys are gonna come on my birthday trip, I'll pay for the Airbnb, and then we'll have some other things planned, and you'll just have to pay for those things and bring your spending money.
Okay.
So I sent out this
far,
invitation.
so good.
That was probably like the end of June. I gave everybody a deadline to RSVP by, because the amount of people who RSVP'd was how large of an Airbnb I was going to inquire, right? So I sent this out. A couple people come back to me and they're like, yeah, no, I'm not going to be able to make it. Dates, times, whatever, it doesn't work. So I said, okay. So in turn, about 16 people decided that they were RSVPing and that they would be able to make the trip. So I go ahead and I book an Airbnb. It's beautiful. It's got a beautiful backyard, hot tub, enough rooms and bathrooms for everybody to be comfortable and spread out. Like, it's a really nice Airbnb. Altogether, it cost me about $4,800, almost $49,000, because it was like $4,880, so $4,900. So I booked that, right? Literally, like, maybe a week after I booked the Airbnb, 2 people fall off. Oh, we can't make it because we gotta work. So I'm like, okay, whatever, continue on. Another thing that I sent them along with the invitation was cost and expenses, and just like an itinerary for the rest of the trip. Okay. So I asked for $250 for additional expenses, because I was going to stock like the Airbnb with food, like other things, like just to make sure that we had what we needed. And then, we were going to, the first day I was planning to do a pajama jam. So everybody was going to wear luxury pajamas. I hired a caterer. That was $1,100. I hired a decorator. That was $600, but I only paid the deposit because the remaining balance wasn't due until a week before the actual event. I bought a custom cake. That was, I put a deposit down on a custom cake. That was $75. And then we were going to do ATVs one day. That deposit was $50. So I had asked for $250 from everybody by September 1st. And out of the 16 people who had RSVP'd to come, I probably only got payment from like 4 people. So that was at the beginning of September. I still was kind of following up with a few folks, like, are you still planning to go? Like, blah, blah, blah. They're like, yeah, we're going, da-da-da-da-da. Then all of a sudden, people just started falling off left, right, left, right.
Can I just say, I feel like people are falling off left and right because, like, I understand it's your birthday and it's a birthday trip, but like this almost sounds like a destination bachelorette with all of the activities and money that people have to spend. And it's really nice of you that you want to pay for the Airbnb. I think that's really, really kind of you. And I think that that's a really nice thing to do. Once you kind of like give something for free, people are like, oh yeah, I'll totally come. And then the minute that you start alluding to the fact that they might actually have to pay for things, they do fall off. Like, they do fall off. Either that or they take their sweet time paying you back.
Sweet, sweet time.
Who's the entitled one in this story? I mean, if you had made everybody else pay for that Airbnb, I would without a doubt say you are the one that's entitled. But it's a little unclear here because you did pay for that Airbnb for everyone. So, is $250 like all they would have to spend on this trip? Or like, is that just like a starting price? Like, let me know. Let's keep watching.
Why they were falling off. Oh, I gotta work. I don't have no sitter for my kids. I'm not drinking, and this seems like it's gonna be a party, and that's just gonna trigger me. Like, just variations.
No, they didn't want to pay for it.
Basically, just excuses.
They didn't want to pay for it.
Of why they couldn't make it. So then this past weekend, my best friend texted me and was like, hey, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it because I don't have a sitter for the kids. And at that point, I was just over it. Like, I was just completely over the entire event. So last night I just went ahead and canceled the entire trip. And I was only able to get
half of it back or something.
$2,800 from the $3,900 that I paid for the Airbnb. I was only able to get $2,800 of that back. I was only able to get $900 back from the caterer. I couldn't get any of my deposits back from the ATVs, the cake, or the decorator. And then some people, I did also need to refund them their $250, and I also needed to give money back to people who had already paid for their flight and they were not able to exchange.
So wait, I'm sorry, you had to pay people back for that? That's not, I don't feel like that's your responsibility. How come you're stuck with the bill for everybody else? Okay, that's not fair. That's not fair. Like, it is also your birthday. And I think it's kind of unfair to leave you with all of those expenses yourself, especially since they committed to it. You had to book the Airbnb. Girls trips, man, I'm telling you, man, like, unless it's entirely for free, people really do be out here pinching pennies and trying to get out of paying for girls trips. Okay? They really do be. And it's just getting to the point where, like, I'm 35, okay? I'm 35. If you can't afford, like, a girls trip, it's not, like, within your scope of, you know, something that you want to spend money on, don't agree to it in the first place, okay? But I really do feel like people be out here going on these girls trips, expecting for everybody to cover their cost. And it's even worse when you're the one that puts down your credit card for all these things. You ain't getting that money back, honey. Speaking from experience, you ain't getting
So all in all, I'm probably out a little over $3,000. And I have just come to the realization that I don't have the friends that I think that I have. And because of that, I've decided that I think I'm going to go no contact with them, because I just don't feel like I'm being fed. And this is not the first time that something like this has transpired. Last year for my birthday, my husband had planned a surprise birthday dinner.
Oh, girl.
Nobody came. And then for my bachelorette party, like, it just felt very thrown together. Like, there was no effort. There was so much fighting, and we can't do this. And it was just so many restrictions. And I am always the type of friend that, like, I'm gonna come to your stuff. If you have a birthday trip, if you have a dinner, whatever, you know, you're having a Christmas party, you got a housewarming, like, I am one of those very supportive friends. If I can make it, I will be there. And that's just who I am. That's just my personality. But I think that I'm at the point in my life where I'm just kind of like, why am I in these friendships when I can't be celebrated the way that I feel I deserve to be celebrated? I have to be celebrated on your terms and how you want to do things. But when it comes to you, like, I'm always there. So I just feel like it's not, these friendships and these relationships are no longer serving me. So I am going to be one of those people that will cut you off.
I have struggled with this as well. And one thing that I have learned through copious amounts of therapy is that not everyone can love you the way that you love them, okay? It sucks. It sucks to be that person that always gives. I'm almost like afraid. Like, I don't even want to have like any sort of destination bachelorette or any sort of party that inconveniences people in any way. I'm finding that unless I pay for everything, people do not show up for me. Sucks. Now, when I say people, I would say people outside of my, like, core, like, few group of friends, okay? Like, I'm talking, like, I have, like, a core group of friends that's, like, I can count on. We show up for each other, you know, even if it's not something where, you know, we're spending money on each other, they'll show up in other ways, right? You don't gotta spend money to be my friend, I'm just saying. But I have just learned that if it's outside of that core, like, 3 or 4 person friend group, you can't really expect people to love you the way that you love, okay? To show up the way you show up. Going no contact is one thing, like low contact could be another. On the one hand, yes, they're leaving you with the bill and all that kind of stuff, and that really sucks. On the other hand, it's kind of like, this was a big trip, it was expensive, it was, you know, something that a lot of people don't know if they can afford. So you kind of got to be understanding of the fact that, like, we're putting ourselves in positions to be let down, okay? And it's not our fault. It's not our fault. But, like, Quantity over quality. Like, pick the few friends that do show up for you and nurture those friendships. Stop worrying about these big friend groups where people don't show up for you. Nurture a few friendships and your relationship, okay? Put love into those things. Because you're just gonna be disappointed time and time again, and it sucks to say, it really does, but like, that's the tea, you know what I'm saying? That's tea. Put out what you receive, okay?
And when I say cut you off, I mean, like, I have no desire to go for drinks or talk on the phone or do dinner or celebrate your birthday. Or, Like, I have no desire to do any of those things. That's just, it's unnecessary for me, especially because I have my siblings. They're always a guaranteed. My husband is definitely a guaranteed. He's going to do whatever it is that I want to do.
There you go.
And I just...
That's all you need.
I'm kind of over it. So, what I did end up doing was I was able to change my flights to Houston. So, me and my husband are now going to go to St. Thomas. Just me and him. And I was able to book us a Airbnb in St. Thomas. So, that'll be what we end up doing for the dates that I've already taken the time off. And so that I don't lose the money that I spent on... going on the flights to Houston. And if I do decide that like I want to have friends again at some point, it's definitely going to be a very different dynamic and very different friendships, because at this point, like, I'm just really over it. So yeah, happy birthday to me.
I'm sorry. That's really disappointing. I'm sorry. That sucks. I'm petty about my birthday too. But yeah, like, again, it's just like, girls' trips, man, not worth it. Go away for your birthday with your husband. And don't expect other people to, like, you know, they'll say yes because they don't want to be mean. But then it's like, is she really worth that? I don't know. The excuses start coming in. Worry about your core friend group, okay? And your mans. Plan your birthday for your enjoyment, not others. Solo trips are once you book your accommodation. If they would like to go, they will figure it out. Okay, this right here. Okay, we do not be booking group Airbnbs anymore. We do not be putting down our credit card for other people's hotel rooms. Okay, we don't. Cativa! Book your Everybody's an adult. Unless, of course, you're watching this video and you're part of the small group of people that is not old enough to book a hotel room yourself. And they can figure it out. Figure it out. Well, that's not fair to the ones that did pay and book their flights. Why didn't you just go with a smaller group? Okay, so there were some people that still wanted to go. I mean, you definitely could have just gone with a smaller group. But then that would have meant that you would have probably have to cover the cost. Oh God, it's too messy. Like, it's too fucking messy. Too messy. You know 16 people to celebrate your birthday with? And that's the tea, right? 16 people? I can think of maybe 5 or 6 people who would, like, take me out for dinner or go on a trip for me or my bachelorette or my birthday or whatever. Maybe. And I sure as ain't planning. If you guys want to do it for me, then awesome. Otherwise, I'm staying home. I do not give people the opportunity to disappoint me anymore. It's sad, but true. So yeah, a lot of people are like, girl, y'all could have went out of the country for that price. $5,000 in Houston is crazy. It is crazy. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. I see kind of both sides. Like, I see why people wouldn't want to spend money on a trip like that. Some people just really just don't feel like it's worth it. It's tough out there right now. Everybody be down for a trip until it's time to pay. I stopped doing group trips. Literally, I don't do this shit anymore. No way. I'm good. Because it's messy every time. You go on these group trips, like kind of the way she described her bachelorette, that bachelorette party that she went to. You pay all this money, you drink a ton, you're irritable, you're tired, everybody fights. Some people go to the hospital for one reason or another. You're basically spending all that money to go and, like, really not want to talk to anyone afterward. It's like, I need a break from you. I'm good. As a person with a solid group of friends I travel with often, you wouldn't even have had to pay for the Airbnb yourself if they were truly your friends. Oh, well, excuse me, miss, I have good friends. Been on many a B-Day trip and we all put in. Me. Rub it in, why don't ya? Moving on.
I recently worked an influencer event where I was the door girl and I was seeing if people were on the list, and when influencers learn that they're not on the list, they get so mean. Very much give, don't you know who I am, very much give, I have 1 million followers, but it's so funny how I literally did not know who they were, so it's like, you're not on the list. There was one girl who just completely walked past us, the door girls, and I was like, oh, like, did anybody check her? She's not on the list, did anybody check her? And she was like, I don't remember her name, so let's call her like Daisy Banana. She was like, I'm Daisy Banana, I don't need to be on any list. And I looked her up and she had like 98,000 followers. Like, girl, who are you? Like, I don't know who you are. Like, you're not supposed to be here apparently. People are also so nice to you until you don't give them what they want. Like, there was this one girl who left her ID at home, but she had a picture of it and the bouncer was not accepting the ID. He was like, sorry, legally, like, I can't let you in. So she came over to me to try to sweet talk me, and I was like, sorry, like, he has the final say, like, I would love to let you in, like, I know that sucks. And the bouncer came over to talk to her again and just like, hey, sorry, like, you need your physical ID. And so quickly, like, she was like trying to like be sweet and talk to him, and then she was like, whatever, bye, you. And she was like rolling her eyes, and it's like, who taught you how to act as a person in society? Like, who does this? One guy tried to slip my friend $1,000 to let him in. Like, who has that money? Like, the party didn't even look that fun. Like, we're trying so hard to get into this party. Towards the end of the night, there were 2 much older women, and I'm not being ageist whatsoever, but it was just like very clear that they didn't look like everybody else who were at the party. I don't know how they found out about it. They were like trying to sweet talk their way into the party, and it was like 30 minutes before it was over, so like clearly like you weren't invited, like you don't know what's going on here. But they tried to do that thing where you try to like butter up the bouncer by asking them their name and like using their name a bunch in a sentence to like psychologically trick them into thinking that the door girl now likes this person because she knows her name and she's treating her like a human. But she was like, what's your name? And my friend fake name was like Lily. She's like, Lily, like, I get it, you can't just like let anybody in, like, Lily, I work PR, like, it's totally fine.
Oh,
but
there
if
it
you could
is.
just let us in, I would really appreciate it. And there was another girl who came up to us and she was like, how did they possibly find the most beautiful women to work this party? And then as she said that, I was like, that's like the most disingenuous thing I've ever heard. And then she walks over to her friends and literally 10 seconds later she goes, all you have to do is give them a compliment. Like, what?
I can hear
No,
you.
that's not gonna work at all. Also, just like, again, the entitlement is absolutely insane. Like, she's Lily Daisy. She is the face of this party. You have to let her in. Well, girly is not on the list, so... And it also is so crazy how people can have like 3 million followers and I've never heard of you. And I don't care. You're not on the list. And my job is to only let people in who are on the list. So their attitude changes up so quickly and they get so mean, and it's like, go home. If that's your biggest problem, like, you need a therapist. If like that is truly the end of your world, is you're not on the list for this weird party, like, there are worse things that could happen. Like, at least you're beautiful and like you're making a living off of like being hot, so there are worse things that could happen. Thank you.
I have a lot of thoughts. Some of them I don't know if I want to share. I have never ever felt that me having a following would get me any sort of special treatment, like, ever. In fact, it kind of like does the opposite. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I do have this friend though. Like, me, I'm not the type of person that can go and like, they can see like a big lineup out at a bar and like I'll walk up to the front of that line and be like, hey, and then just like walk in. I'm not that kind of person. I do have a friend who is that kind of person, and somehow she always weasels her way in. Like, I was out with her the other night. Both times that we walked up to these 2 bars, she just walked straight to the front of the line and got in. And meanwhile, I'm at the back, just kind of like, oh God, this isn't going to work. It never works for me. It doesn't work for me. And I'm just back there with all these people that are watching her get in, and they're so pissed off. Did I stay behind? No, I didn't. I went in with her, even though, you know, we kind of cut the line a little bit. But be freaking for real, you would too. It works for her. I don't know why. She literally walks up like she owns the place and she gets in. Meanwhile, over here with the you know, all the followers and stuff, I'm just back here like, oh, there's no way. No, there's no way. I'm not, no. It just doesn't work. Like, it really doesn't work. I think she's just really good at like, not sweet talking her way in, but like finding a way in, you know, just being like, oh, like we were already inside, you know? She's sneaky like that. So the $1,000 would probably work on me, but none of that other stuff. Honestly, I heard that and I was like, really? You didn't take it? I'd be like, someone paid me $1,000 and you think all you have to do is pay a compliment? Yeah, I'm surprised that the $1,000 didn't work. Never in my life have I ever paid that much money to get into a bar. No, never in my life. And I never will. I never will. No party is that good. I'm sorry. If we can't get into the party, we make our own party, you know? And that's on period. Maybe my friend is a little entitled, or maybe she's just sneaky. I don't know. She's sneaky. And I'm just along for the ride. Like, I'm sorry. There are certain people out there that they just like, they just find a way. You know, they do not accept no for an answer and they figure out a way. Usually the way is money. The money is the way. Just so, that's why I'm surprised that you didn't accept the $1,000, honestly.
Listen to how much of an entitled brat my brother is, right? This is a conversation I just had with him. I should preface, I'm definitely entitled as well. However, moving on. Backstory, me and my brother live at home with my parents. I'm 23, he's 24. Before you judge, that's pretty normal for Melbourne and Australia, especially in like Greek culture. So for the past few weeks, my grandfather's been in hospital, so my mum's been there looking after him quite a lot. So naturally, I've started looking after the house a little bit more, doing a few of the chores she would usually do as a Greek mother. And today I walked into the kitchen, right? My brother had a dirty Tupperware container in a plastic bag and left it on the island bench. Just left it there, didn't unpack it, didn't put it in the sink, didn't put it in the dishwasher, left it in the plastic bag, just said someone else's problem, right? Little right? So I waited till he walked into the kitchen naturally. And I pointed to him, I said, what the fuck's that? He goes, what? I said, you couldn't have put it in the sink? You didn't even have to wash it, but you couldn't put it in the sink? He goes, mate, I was so tired from work, I this, I that. And I said, that's fine. It's not that hard to unpack it and put it in the sink.
Literally.
I'm not even asking you to wash it. Listen to his response, right? He goes, mate, you don't even know what I do around here. I clean my own bathroom and I make my bed in the morning.
Ooh.
Whoa, no you don't. Bro's crazy. He actually looked at me like he deserved a Nobel Peace Prize for doing that. I was like, this is his face. Like as if I thought it was going to be some great achievement that he makes his own bed in the morning.
Wow,
but,
good for you.
You know what? I didn't realize you do all that. Is there anything else you need me to do for you then? I didn't realize you take on that big of a load. I clean my own bathroom. I make my bed.
How are you not embarrassed? But he wants an award for literally just like being an adult. A participation trophy. I bet he doesn't even clean his own bathroom and make his own bed. Like that's.
I did it once. One time, I made my bed. It was very traumatic.
You don't get a trophy for literally just doing the bare minimum. I'm sorry. He does more than my partner. Oh, that's the tea. That's the I'm just kidding. Oh, man. I feel like this is just the reality of having like boys. I think moms really clean up after boys. Girls, no. No, we need to learn how to set the table, okay? While boys chill in the basement, at least in my house. And my mom's Italian, which is kind of the same thing as Greek, but not really. Oh my God, I'm sorry I said that. I'm sorry. I know that probably upset some Greek and Italian people. It was actually astonishing to me how my brother would be playing World of Warcraft in his room, and my mom would be like, Charlotte, come set the table. And no matter how many times she asked me to set the table, she would still teach me as if it like I had never set the table before. Brother just shows up 10 minutes late to dinner, hasn't done a thing. So happy for him to be there. Charlotte, go do the dishes. You're that girl. I know that wasn't about me, but that triggered me for some reason. It is relevant though, because there's lots of dudes out there who had moms who picked up after them all the time, and the result is now their partners have to pick up after them.
You're gonna tell me that you can't.
Can I scan your app, please?
You can't. You told me you can't fulfill my order.
Can I scan your app, please?
Yeah, after you answered my question.
Can I scan your app, please?
You're acting very hostile.
I'm not. I'm asking you to scan
Okay,
your app.
and I'm asking you. You're telling me you couldn't blend my smoothie.
Your app so I can give you your refund. You're
Okay.
holding up the line.
No, you're holding up the line.
You're holding up the line. Can I get?
I need you to confirm that you said,
Can I get you your refund, ma'am? Would you like your refund?
ma'am.
I don't like to be recorded. I don't
Okay,
appreciate
but you
it.
told me that you couldn't blend my smoothie.
Can I get your card so I can?
No,
give you
not
your
until you
refund?
confirm why you couldn't make my smoothie right.
Can you give me your card so I can?
Did you hear me? No.
I hear you.
Oh
I'm
my
not
God.
I'm
Okay.
not. Can I get your?
I'm asking you to confirm you couldn't make my smoothie.
Cash because you're being very inconsiderate to the people behind you right now.
Period.
And I don't appreciate you recording me and having your phone in my face.
It's not in your face.
So It is in my face.
This is here and you're there.
Understandable, but you're being very inconsiderate to the people behind you, and I'm just trying to help you at the moment.
I'd like-
Can I get your gift card, please.
Can you just give me the cash and my receipt with your name on
Your
it?
gift card?
No, ma'am.
Can I get your gift card?
No, ma'am. Give me the cash. That's fine.
Buddy in the back's like, we got a live one, folks.
Well, your change is $10.56.
You wrote your name on the receipt?
Have a good day.
All right.
So wait, you held up that line, lady, because you just wanted her on camera saying that she didn't want to blend your smoothie? Or she didn't blend your smoothie properly? That's why you brought out your phone and held up the line for all those people and harassed this young woman, correct? I don't know how people do it. Like, in that situation, I would feel so uncomfortable with everybody waiting behind me. I can't even shit in public because I'm afraid that people are waiting outside the stall who need to pee. They really need to pee. I can shit later, it's fine. Don't worry, I'll shit my pants. You go pee. You go pee. It's okay. Just take the goddamn refund and get out of her face. Get out of my face. I'm done. I'm done with you. I've seen enough.
Get ready with me whilst I give you a story time on why I stopped lashing in my room. My first year of lashing, I was actually lashing from my room, and then for the second year, I moved into the studio. Lashing in your room or like just being home based when you're a beginner lash tech, I think it just makes more sense because you don't know how many clientele you're going to get and you have to build it up, so you want to try and make sure you're making as much profit as possible. So I decided to just lash from my room. Yes, there's pros and cons to it. Like, you save a lot of money, you don't have to travel, but at the same time you're inviting random strangers into your room and just your personal space. When I first started lashing, I had like, I'd say a questionable type of clients. Like, some of them were nice, but also at the same time I had a handful of clients that were just rude, and it just made me think like, how am I getting disrespected in my own house? So I just thought to myself like, maybe I should move out. But this one client that I had, guys, when I tell you, this was the most like mouth dropping moments of my life. Like, I actually couldn't believe she'd done that. The first impressions that I had of her, she didn't really acknowledge me. Like, from the minute she came into my house, she was literally on the phone. So even when I was saying hi, like, she didn't really say hi or anything, like, just straight on the phone. So I was like, oh, okay. And just followed her upstairs to my room. And we did not speak throughout the whole appointment. Now, guys, this is where it gets so messed up, right? The first half of the appointment, she was talking to her husband, and they were pretty much just talking about things that they were gonna do to each other that night. Like, she was getting into detail, and like, because her husband was on speaker, I could literally hear everything. Whatever she was saying, guys, I did not need to know. Now, if you think it's crazy that she's talking about during her appointment whilst it's on speaker with her husband, what gets even more crazier is the fact that she starts herself, herself throughout the whole appointment. And not even that, guys, her finger, like, touching, sniffing it at the same time. Like, I swear, guys, this, like, I was so mentally traumatized. I know I'm laughing about it now, but this is because it happened like last year. But guys, when I tell you, yeah, I was so traumatized. And if you don't believe me, I'm actually just gonna insert the video now.
Sorry, okay, oh my god, ew.
Don't want you guys thinking that I'm a weirdo for recording her. I promise you guys, I did not want to record it. But you know, it's one of the moments where if you actually don't record it, people are not going to believe you.
Okay, we can't show that. We can't show that.
It's not even like she had a blanket or anything to cover herself. So I'm genuinely so baffled why she would want to do this.
That is actually insane. That is so foul. Sorry, kids. That's for Auntie Charlotte's eyes only.
So she's literally off. She's sniffing her fingers, and she even came with no socks and started rubbing her foot against like my dresser table, which was next to my lash bed at the time. And honestly,
absolutely
guys,
not.
when I tell you, I was so shocked. I had to record it and send it to my siblings and ask them like, what the hell, like, am I bugging, or like, what is she doing right now? Because you wouldn't think someone would come and start at their appointment, do you know what I mean? So it's like, whilst I was lashing her, we didn't even talk. Like, the music is on in the background, she's just talking to her husband, they're having like inappropriate phone calls.
That is
things
crazy.
that I don't even need to know. Angle where I was, I could see like as well at the same time, because as you can see, she's putting her fingers like. So it's like, imagine you're a lash tech and your client just starts doing that. It's like, what the hell do you do? When that had happened, people were like, oh, why didn't you tell her to leave? Like, how did you let her continue this? But I don't think you guys understand, yeah? How do you tell someone to stop themselves at their appointment. Like, that is so awkward.
You say, "Excuse me, madam, I'm very uncomfortable by what you're doing. If you don't stop, you're going to have to leave." Honestly, at that point, I would literally, like, I would not want to be around someone at all who thought it was okay to do that. Like, at that point, you're done. Like, you're cut. No amount of money is worth having to sit through that.
Oh, excuse me, do you mind just not your, you know?
Yeah, that's what you say, babe.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so, like, I just don't know how I was supposed to do. So yeah, me and my anxious self just let that happen throughout the whole appointment. She kept, and like the first half of the appointment she was speaking to her husband, and then the second half I think she was speaking to a friend. But my thing is, the things that she was talking to her friends were about, like taking like pills to make like taste nice, like things that I just once again didn't need.
That is so uncomfortable.
So that whole situation was just so crazy to me, and that day was the day I had decided that nah, I am not doing this in my room again.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say right now, whether this happens in your room or in a studio atmosphere, or like you rent a space to do it, we gotta grow we gotta, like, I don't like saying grow a pair, because like I don't like grow a pair. But we don't gotta man up. We gotta woman up, okay? We gotta woman up. It's not worth it, okay? I understand you're a recovering people pleaser. It's awkward, it is. But you know what's more awkward? Having to sit through that. Je téléphone à la police!
And I had to get rid of all the blankets, and I had to tell my clients for like the day, oh, my client spilled juice, so if you want to bring your own blanket or just dress warm, because yeah, I'm not going to have any blankets for you guys, because I mean, come on, no one's going to want to lay on a blanket where someone else, you know, was...
Okay, I get the point. I would have stopped service straight away. Literally, I understand maybe at the time you were desperate for clients, but like, come on, nobody's that desperate. I wouldn't have believed you if there wasn't video evidence. Can confirm there is video evidence. There is. Is this not a crime? Yes, it is, actually. It is. Despite the evidence, I still cannot believe this. Believe it. Believe it.
Subscribe!